Hello, my name is Jonathan Delgado, and I'm a photographer based here in El Paso, Texas. I'm currently working on a Bachelor's of Science in Digital Photography. What puts me aside from other photographers here in El Paso is the way that I take my photos, my knowledge of lighting, and having my own personal equipment. So, the way I take my photos is I tend to look to the realistic side of photography. I tend to capture the moments as they come. I try to do very less posing and fake moments than my bad. Let me rephrase that. I do a lot less. I don't do posing or redo moments. I take it as they come, and if I miss, I miss. As for my lighting skills, it is very important to have that type of knowledge because as a photographer, you're often battling with natural light while using ambient lights. Ambient light being as the power that is the light coming from your strobes or flashes while on a photo shoot. So with that, having knowledge of how to balance the light or how to make the light go into your favor is quite efficient. Also, having your own personal equipment other than having a flash and a camera is also helpful in photography as well. The reason why I say that is because most photographers here in El Paso either don't use artificial light and just use natural light, or they use ambient light, but all they have is like a flash. What I tend to use on photo shoots is a strobe along with an efficient power source. So the difference for me is that I'm able to go ahead and bring more light into what I need than what other photographers can do. As for the weaknesses during my photo shoots is I'm bad like a good majority of the time with my exposures and framing of images. The reason why is because my main field is editorial photography. And when it comes to editorial work, you'd have to take the moment as it comes. You don't exactly get to say when or how the moment comes. You just have to take it when it comes. The next weakness for me is people skills, basically more on the side of communication. The reason why is because once I start with the photo shoot and when we're doing the photo shoot, I can be completely fine and talk to the client and get the emotions and activity that I want them to do. But before or after the photo shoot is the hardest part for me because I'm more of a sticking to myself. I don't exactly talk to a lot of people while out doing photography. So, with that, another weakness is, of course, getting the people skills, is trying to find people or clientele to take photos for. This is a hard skill because without people skills, I will not be able to come up with as many opportunities as I would plan to when I start up my business here in El Paso. As for speaking of opportunities, here in El Paso, there's often a large market for portraits, events, and weddings, special events, and so forth. With this, it is very important to have the people skills nailed down or at least be quite efficient with what I do. There's also new businesses in the area coming up every month or every so often, and these businesses are often local. So when you think about local businesses, they often need promotion, and often with promotion, you need images, which often calls for a large demand on the photographer or photographers helping that business. Along with that, one of the fields of photography that I like going into is modeling photography. With this in mind, this also opens up a new window of opportunities because I would like to go ahead and also see if I can partner up or even become a photographer for some of the modeling agencies here in El Paso. With that in mind, some of the threats also come off my weaknesses and even from opportunities. One of those threats is the talents of other photographers. The photographers themselves are not a threat. I like to look at them more of the allies, but you're normally in competition with other photographers when it comes to a client. When a client is looking for a photographer, they're looking for specific traits, they're looking for specific skills. What can they get in the end? And that is probably one of my biggest threats, is because when it comes to creativity, I have very little. But when it comes to real life portraiture or real life events, I can do that easy with no problem. Another thing is, since I'm barely going to be starting off with my business, I'll be seen as a beginning photographer to clients or clientele. With this in mind, I will have to find a way to set myself different from other photographers and actually prove my grounds and prove that I have the knowledge just like the rest in order to take a picture. The last thing is basically my people skills. If I don't if I'm not going to be able to master my people skills fast enough, instead of becoming a weakness, it could grow into more of a threat in which would harm the business more than what it will help me. So in conclusion, as being a photographer, you need to have great people skills. You need to be able to have efficient knowledge in what you do. And you have to be aware of the opportunities within your city. So with that, thank you for listening and have yourselves a nice day.